Let's get this party started. All right, so in the pattern, I have you using Bernat Velvet Twist. It's espresso. Now, instead of this, for the tutorial, I'm going to end up using Bernat Symphony Autumn Maple. I want to see how this works up for like the color and everything. This is also a 5 weight, however, it is lighter in weight, so I kind of want to see how that works out. We are also using the Ice Yarns Panda Military Green, and I'm going to talk about this very quickly. This says it is a 6, and I do write this in the pattern. It says it's a 6, but it is much closer to a 5 as far as thickness. This also is from Ice Yarn, and it says it's a 6, so I'm going to show you a comparison really fast because I always have people that argue with me about this, just to prove my point here. This is a 6. This also says it's a 6. See the difference? We're going to go with this because it's more like a 5. You are going to chain 33. Try not to tighten up your chain too much when you do this. You want to just keep it at a fairly loose tension so it doesn't kind of scrunch your work later on. Starting in the second back bump, HDC 32. So your back bump is, if you look at your chain, you have V's going all the way across. They look like a V. Now if you flip your chain over, there's these bumps going all the way across the back of it. Those are your back bumps. People will also call them camel humps. You can call it whatever you like, but that's what you should be working in. So HDC in starting in second. And do 32. And then you're going to chain 1 and turn. It doesn't matter if you turn and then chain 1. I chain 1 and turn. Now, the rest of the pattern is going to be worked in your third loop of your stitches. So these are your regular stitches right here that you would normally work in all the way across. Now, if you flip it a little bit, the way that you'll be working is you're going to be putting it in the third loop, which is these ones right below here. So my hook is in that, and then you can see the top 2 stitches there that you normally do work in. So for the entire pattern, make sure to be working down here, and it will give you this little V going all across the pattern. I'm talking about the graph really quickly. Now what you want to do is, it says the rows on the side, and then there'll be an arrow pointing which direction you are working. So on row 2, which is what we're starting now, it will tell you, it says 7 brown stitches, 7, and then the number 4 for 4 green stitches, and 21 for 21 brown stitches. When you're going the next direction, on row 3, it'll start off saying 19. So you're doing 19 brown, and then it says 8. So you just kind of go by which way the arrow is pointing. That's how you're going to read the graph. Working in third loop, HDC 7. Put a color change on the 7th stitch. You're going to start off the HDC. On the final pull through, you're going to add the green. And that's how you're going to color change. And then I always tie a little knot there to make sure that it's not going to go anywhere. You're going to do HDC 4 with the green, so work over your brown. And don't complete the 4th one. And with the color that you are working over, just kind of tug on it a little bit, not a lot, just a little bit to make sure it wasn't bubbling when you worked over. And pull through the brown. And you're going to work over the green, Carry the green across for 2 stitches. Two, and then you're going to carry it up. So on the next row, you're going to use that. And we are doing 21 of brown total for these 3. The last stitch, the 21 on the last stitch is a little weird, but you're just grabbing this loop at the end. And if you have a hard time telling where your first and last stitch is when you do your rows, please make sure to just mark them. I get a lot of messages saying like, oh, my count is off, I don't understand why. If you mark your first and last stitch, that'll probably help you a lot. Chain 1 and turn, and we'll start row 3. See how you have this little ridge going across the whole way? That's what happens when you work in the 3rd loop. So row 3, we are going to do 19 in brown. And the green should be right there with you. So change color and work over the brown. We are going to do 8 with green. And then pull through the brown. When you're working with this fuzzy yarn, there's really not a trick to be able to see your stitches just working with it by itself. So really you just kind of have to feel for your stitches. That's why most people hate it. You're kind of just having your fingers crossed. So just really make sure to count while you're doing it. You try to count your stitches later. Like up here, you can actually see them pretty well, but unfortunately that's not what you're working in. You're working down here. So you just kind of have to feel. And we're going to do 5 in brown. Carry up the green because we're not going to need that right away on the next row. Chain 1 and turn, and onto row 4. We're going to do 9 with the brown. Just work over the green. And change color. I know this may be frustrating for some intermediate or advanced people if you're watching this. The reason that I am kind of over explaining here is because I do get a lot of beginners or people who have not ever color changed, things like that. So I am trying to explain just a little bit more for those who don't understand so much. We are going to do 6 in green. Change color. Carry up the green. And 17 in brown. Chain 1 and turn, and we're doing row 5. We're going to do 18 in brown. Change color to green. And we're going to do 6 with the green. Change color to brown. And carry up the green. We're going to do 8 with the brown. Chain one and turn, and we're going to do row 6. Before we do row 6, we're going to do a gauge check really quickly. So when you're measuring across this way, it'll say 32 stitches across. So you're going to measure that. And this is to see if you're turning out the same size as I am, because everyone's tension is very different. That's the reason you do a gauge check, just to see if your tension is the same as mine. I do tend to crochet a bit looser. So with 32 stitches across, it's 10 inches. And then we have 5 rows right now, so we're going to measure the 5 rows. And for 5 rows, it's 2.5 inches. Now, if yours is a lot smaller, let's say 9 inches, 8 inches, I don't know, some people crochet very tightly, you're going to want to go up to a larger hook size. If yours is way over, let's say 11, 12, you're going to want to use a smaller hook size. For these, it's not a huge deal because you can always eliminate some rows. Yes, the hat will end up being longer, but it does fold over, so it's not going to be, a huge deal. HDC 12 with the brown. Change color to green, and we're going to do 5 in green. Change color to brown, and we're going to do 15 in brown. We don't need the green at this point. We're going to carry up. Chain 1 and turn. Row 7, we are going to do 17 in brown. Change color to green, and we're going to do 4 in green. Change color to brown, and we're not going to need the green for this little portion anymore, so I'm going to fasten mine off. And then you can just work over it. It doesn't matter if it kind of shows through because it's moss, and you kind of want moss to show through anyway when you're making like wooden looking items. We're going to do 11 in brown. So for me, with my fasten off one, I kind of just work across for a couple stitches, and then I'll carry it up and work across the other way just to kind of get it in there. Chain 1 and turn, and we're doing row 8. Row 8 is 32 stitches in brown. Chain 1 and turn, and onto row 9. Go get coffee. We're going to take a quick break. All right, coffeeed up and ready to go. Row 9. So 3 in brown. 1, 2, 3. And at no point are we increasing or decreasing. So you should always have 32 stitches going across. All we're doing is changing color. And we are going to change color to green. And we're going to do 3 in green. change color to brown, and we're going to work over the green for 2 stitches. But we are doing 26 stitches in brown. So 1, 2, and carry up the green. And continue with your 26 stitches. Chain 1 and turn. Row 10, we are going to do 24 in brown. We're just going to call this yarn brown because it's easier. Change color to green, and we are going to do 7 in green. Change to brown. We're going to still carry across for the 1 stitch the green because we're going to change color on the next row. So do 1 in brown. You can change color however you like this way. This is just the way I do it. So I'm going to change color by pulling it through and then pulling down on that. And then we're going to carry up the brown. That was your last stitch. Chain 1 with the green and turn. Row 11, we are going to do 5 with the green, so work over your brown. Change color to brown and carry up the green. We're going to do 27 in brown. All right, row 12. We are going to do 29 in brown. Change color to green, and you're going to carry up the brown. We're going to do 3 in green. Chain 1 and turn. And row 13. We are going to do 4 in green. Change color to brown, and you're going to carry across the green for 2 stitches of the brown. We are doing 28 stitches of brown. So 1, 2, then carry up the green. Chain 1 and turn, and we are going to do row 14, so 26 in brown. change color to green. And carry up the brown. You're going to do 6 in green. Chain 1 and turn. And row 15. So we're going to do 5 in green. Change color to brown. To do 27 with brown, carry up your green. Seven, chain 1 and turn. Okay, so for row 16, you're gonna have green in 2 different spots. Other parts of the pattern you will as well. So it's up to you how you want to do this. A lot of times I'll just pull from the middle of the skein and then from the outside of the skein. You can also, yes, I know skein, I'm not gonna get into argument, I don't know what it is. But you can also use just 2 separate ones. It's up to you. I'm just gonna pull from the inside and the outside of it. So we're going to do 1 with the brown, change color to the green. This will be our second strand of green on here. We're going to do 3 stitches with the green. Change color to brown and carry up the green. And you're going to do 25 stitches with the brown. Change color to green. And you're going to do 2 stitches in green. Change color to brown. And we're going to fasten off this green. We don't need it anymore right now. And do 1 stitch with brown. Row 17. We are going to do 29 stitches in brown. Change color to green and carry up brown. You can actually work over it for 1 stitch if you want to, and then carry it up. We're going to do 3 stitches in green. Chain 1 and turn, and we're on to row 18. So you're going to do 2 in green. Change color to brown, and you're going to do 30 stitches in brown, but we are going to work over the green for 3 stitches. 1, 2, 3, and carry up the green. chain one and turn. We are going to do 12 in brown. And you're going to add the second strand of green. We're going to do 4 in green. Change color to brown. We're going to do 11 in brown, but work over the green for 2 stitches. 1, 2. Carry up the green. Change color to green and work over the brown for 2 stitches. We are doing 5 stitches in green. So 1, 2, carry up the brown, and chain 1 and turn, row 20. So we're going to do 3 stitches in green, change color to brown, and we can fasten off this green now. Do 11 stitches with the brown. Change color to green. And we're going to do 8 stitches in green. Change color to brown. You're going to do 10 stitches in brown, but we're going to work over the green for 2 of the stitches. 2, and then carry up that green. Chain 1 and turn, and we are on row 21 now. HDC 8 with the brown. Change color to green. Do 6 in green. Change color to brown and carry up the green. Do 18 with the brown. Chain 1 and turn, and row 22. So we are going to do 20 in brown. Change color to green, and we are going to do 6 in green. Change color to brown. We are going to do 6 in brown, but we're going to work over the green for 2 stitches. 2, carry up the green. Chain 1, turn, And on to row 23. HDC 4 with the brown. Change color to green, and we're going to do 6 with the green. Change color to brown. We're going to do 22 with the brown, but we're going to work over the green for 5 stitches. Carry up the green and continue. Chain 1 and turn, and on to row 24. We're going to do 17 in brown. Change color to green. And we are going to do 7 in green. Change color to brown. Sorry about those noises. And carry up the green. Do 8 stitches in brown. Chain 1, turn, and on to row 25. I'm going to go get some coffee. I'll be right back. All right, besties, back to work. Row 25. So we are going to do 10 with the brown. We are going to do 4 with the green. Change color to the brown. We are going to do 18 in brown, but work over the green for 3. Three. Then carry up the green. Chain 1 and turn, and on to row 26. So we're going to do 15 in the brown. Change color to green, and we're going to do 5 in green. Change color to brown, and carry up the green. We're going to do 12 in brown. Chain 1 and turn, and on to row 27. So look how that yarn is working up. I think that's quite nice for wood. It's also very stretchy yarn, so you'll get like a nice stretch going. All right, 27, focus. We're going to do 13 in brown. Change color to green. Looking at my computer, couldn't find my yarn. Do 9 in green. Change color to brown. We're going to do 10 in brown, but work over 3 stitches with the green. 3, and carry up the green. Chain 1, turn, and onto row 28. So we're going to do 7 in brown, change color to green. I'm going to do 10 in green, change color to brown, and we're going to carry up the green now and do 15 in brown. Chain 1 and turn, and onto row 29. HDC 18 with the brown. Change color to green. Do 3 in green. Change color to brown, and we're going to fasten off the green. And do 11 in brown. Chain 1 and turn, and onto row 30. So we're going to do 29 in the brown, change color to green, and carry up the brown. We're going to do the 3 remaining stitches in the green. Chain 1 and turn, row 31. We're going to HDC 5 with the green. Change color to brown. We're going to do 27 in brown, work over the green for 2. 2, and carry up the green. Chain 1 and turn, row 32. We're going to do 25 in brown. Change color to green. We're going to do 7 in green, work over brown 1. 1, and then carry up the brown. Chain 1 and turn. Row 33. We're going to do 6 in green. Change color to brown. Carry up the green. We're going to do 22 in brown. Then you're going to add a second strand of green. Do 3 in green, work over the brown. Change color to brown. Carry up the green and do the last stitch in brown. Chain 1 and turn. 34. Do 2 in brown. Change color to green. Do 4 in green. Change color to brown, and you're going to work over to green. We're going to do 22 of brown. 1, 2, carry up the green. Change color to green. You're going to work over the brown. So do 3 in green. And change color to brown. Carry up the green and do 1 stitch in brown for the last stitch. Chain 1, turn, row 35. With brown, you're going to HDC 2. Change color to green. We're going to do 3 in green. Change to brown. And carry up green. Do 19 in brown. Change to green for 4 stitches. Change to brown. We're going to do 4 brown, work over the green for 1. So 1, carry up the green. Chain 1 and turn. Row 36. We're going to do 3 in brown. Three in green. Change color to brown and carry up green. We're going to do 22 stitches in brown. Change to green, and we're going to do 3 in green. Change to brown and carry up green. Do the last stitch in brown. Chain 1 and turn, and onto 37. So with brown, we're going to do HDC 5. Change color to green. Do 6 green. Change color to brown. We're going to do 16 brown, working over the green for 3. 3, then carry up the green. Change color to green. We're going to do 5 green, working over the brown for 2. 1, 2, carry up the brown. Chain 1, turn, and on to 38. We're going to do 3 in green. Change color to brown, and then carry up green. We're going to do 15 in brown. Oh, of course there's not. Why wouldn't there be? Change color to green. We're going to do 5 in green. Change color to brown. Carry green up, and you're going to do 9 in brown. Chain 1, turn, and onto row 39. HDC 11 in brown. Change color to green. HDC 5 in green. Change color to brown. We're going to do 14 in brown. We're going to work over the green for 2 stitches. 2, carry up the green. Change color to green and carry up the brown. You're going to do 2 stitches in green. Chain 1 and turn, and onto row 40. 2 in green. Change color to brown. And you're going to fasten off this green. Do 12 in brown. Change to green. Do 5 in green. Change color to brown. You're going to do 13 in brown. We're going to work over the green for 1. So 1. And carry up the green. Chain 1 and turn, and onto row 41. We're going to do 12 in brown. Change to green. We're going to do 4 in green. Change to brown. And carry up green. Going to do 16 in brown. Chain 1, turn, and onto 42. We're going to do 18 in brown. Change to green. And we're going to do 4 in green. Change to brown. Carry up green. We're going to do 10 in brown. Chain 1 and turn. And onto row 43. We are going to do 11 in brown. Change color to green for 2 stitches. Change to brown and fasten off green. You're going to do 19 stitches in brown. Chain 1 and turn. Rows 44 and 45, we're going to HDC in the 3rd loop of each stitch. It's just going to be brown. Chain 1 and turn. Row 46, you are going to do 32 stitches in brown. So at the end of row 46, you're going to chain 1 and turn. I've already measured mine, and all the way across from end to end, it measured at 20.5 inches. Now, when I did this in velvet, it measured at 22 inches. So this yarn seems to have quite a bit more like bounce back. If you need to add or eliminate more, go ahead, but this fit my head perfectly. It actually feels a little bit large, and my head is 21.5 inches. So it's up to you what you want to do. You did the chain 1 and turn, and then you are going to fasten off. Keep your piece the way it is right now. And then you're going to take the beginning portion. This was your beginning chain, and you're going to lay it in front. To sew this up, you're going to go into the V of your beginning chain, those top 2 loops. And then you're going to go into those same third loops that you used the entire time of the pattern. So top loops here, and then the third loop on the piece behind, which was your last row. And you're going to sew that all the way up. This yarn is not the best for sewing because it's kind of fuzzy. Now, if you need to check to see to make sure that you're doing right, you should have that little ridge showing so the pattern looks the same throughout. Shouldn't even be able to tell that it's sewn. If you decide to do this with like velvet yarn or any of those kinds that tend to fuzz up really bad, I would recommend sticking with like a regular sturdy 4-weight yarn for sewing, so you're not pulling off all the fuzz on the yarn, which makes it extremely difficult to sew. And then you're going to tie that off and fasten off. This is where you just finished. You are going to take this portion. This is going to be the top part of your hat. And there is your seam. And you want to kind of center the seam. And when you look at the front, these are your ears. So you should have these two little fuzzy parts where your ears are. If you don't like it that way, you don't have to keep it that way, but that's how we are doing this. We're going to sew across the top and then make the ears. So you want to cut a long strand. I always kind of overcut, and then I have a ton left over, but better safe than sorry. So you want to start at one corner and sew across to the other corner. Or end, whatever you want to call it. And we're just going to shove that in there because we don't need it. This is going to be an ear anyway, so if I don't have to sew something in, I'm not gonna. And then you just want to kind of grab just the kind of an outer loop on both sides. Just somewhere, make sure it's secure though. And with the fur, make sure you're actually grabbing the yarn and not the fur itself. You can also flip your hat inside out and sew. It's not really noticeable though, so it's really up to you if you want to do that. Now, if you're sewing with a very different color, then you probably would want to. I haven't done that yet though. And don't pull too tightly when you're sewing. You don't want to like ruche this or anything, like make it really tight. You kind of just want to sew it together to make sure it's not separated at all. Now that you did that, you're going to want to pin the ears. So this may depend on your head shape. I'm doing it according to mine, so this is how I pin my hat. So we're going to count 8 rows across. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and we're going to start the pin there for this ear. And then it says 13 stitches down. Check, see. I'm at 14. Okay, so 13 here. And what you want to do, put that here for a second. Stitch marker would work better. But what you want to do is kind of just take your needle and go in and out until you get to your 13th stitch. This is just the easiest way to keep track while you're sewing, at least for me it is. And then have it come out on your 13th. And you're going to do that on both sides. And then once you pin it, you can try it on and kind of get an idea how it's going to sit. However, it's not exact. Once it's sewn, it does sit a little bit differently, but you still get a basic idea. And if you need the hat maybe like a little bit wider on top or anything, just don't sew as many rows. You can maybe say, let's do 7 rows and 12 stitches or something like that. Just kind of decide how you want your triangle. So we're going to count 13 stitches down, start my pin here, and then 8 rows across. I lose my place very easily, so I always mark to see where I'm heading. And those are now pinned. We're going to start sewing it up. You're going to take your strand that's still on there. You can make a knot here, but we're not going to pull until later, so it's not super important at this moment. And you're going to thread it all the way down to your 13th stitch. My 13th stitch is here. And you want to make sure before you start sewing up, because we're going to pull on the ear a little bit, just wrap the yarn around your needle twice. 1, 2, and that will create a knot to keep it from, when you pull, you don't want to end up scrunching this part at all. And then I sew in and out this way. However, if you want to flip your hat inside out and kind of sew like that, you can. However, you also will need to be able to pull the yarn to scrunch the ear. So I have not tried it that way. That's up to you if you would like to or not. And the reason I like this needle here is so that I can tell exactly, I just kind of touch my needle up to that. And then I can tell exactly where I'm sewing. So I'm going in the straight line. You want to do them fairly close together. Doesn't have to be extremely close, but you don't want the gap that you're, like, you know, when you're sewing it, you don't want the gap to be too far apart, or else it's kind of, when you pull it, it doesn't look as clean. All right, on these last couple stitches that I'm going to do, because I'm going to add a little bit of stuffing in here in the ear. That's completely optional whether you want to do that or not. I think it just makes it look a little bit cuter, but it doesn't make that much of a difference. I'm not going to pull my yarn all the way through because I need to put stuffing in it and then I can pull. So I can smush it in the hole. But I need to be able to pull out the needle. Okay, so we're going to remove that needle. And then just put a little bit in there. You don't need a whole lot. Make sure you kind of get it down in the corners. Is that going to be good? Maybe a little bit more there. All right. Once you think you have enough, you're going to pull. And just kind of gently tug. This is the only reason that I kind of don't recommend using velvet for sewing, just because sometimes that can snap and you really don't want that, but you may be fine. So you just want it to have a little bit of a gather there. You don't want to pull too hard, but you know, just give it a little bit of a difference. I think that looks pretty cute right there. So then you are going to do the same thing you did at the beginning. Loop your yarn around your needle twice to make sure that doesn't come undone. And then go over to the 8th on this side. Now, if you're worried that maybe you did something wrong on the ears, or maybe you scrunched too tight or too loose, you can just start off with a separate strand and do this ear the same way. It's up to you, because that way you wouldn't have to undo everything, but your choice. Now that is secured, we're going to go to the other side. And you don't want to pull this part at all when you're threading the yarn through, or else it'll tighten up the top. And you don't really want to do that. We're on our 8th row now. So we are going to loop the yarn around twice. And then do the same thing, just sew in and out all the way down, making sure that if you're going to add stuffing, that you don't pull those last couple stitches all the way through until you add the stuffing, and then you can pull through and Yankee on the yarn a bit. Yankee Doodle Dee. And we're snagged. Awesome. So much worse for me doing stuff while I'm filming. Like, nothing ever goes smoothly when I try to film stuff. It's unfortunate. I could have been a famous YouTuber. Go a little bit loosey-goosey. We're going to pull that out and then add a wee bit of stuffing. Stuff that kitty. Yep, I hurt myself. And then time to Pulio. And do it the same amount that you did on the other ear. I think that looks pretty even. Yeah, that's pretty cute. And then you're going to loop your yarn around twice. Pull through. And then just sew that in. Afterwards, if you try it on and you think, oh, I wish it was like the fold over flap was a little bit longer, or, you know, depending on how you like your hat, either next time you do it, you can add more stitches to the length, or with the hat that you just made, you can also just do like rows of HDC or rounds of HDC across the bottom, so when you fold it over, you have that there. That's completely up to you. Just make sure, normally when you do HDCs or any stitches on the ends of rows that are HDC, you would do, let's say, single crochet 1, 2 single crochet in the next, single crochet 1, 2 single crochet in the next. That's how you technically do it on that, but you can kind of decide how it looks on your hat. Since these are ridges on here, it may lay a little bit differently. After you've sewn in all your ends, you are done. This is how it should look. It does have a nice amount of stretch to that. I do actually really like this yarn. My only concern is that there is some wool in it, and some people are allergic. However, other than that, it's pretty fantastic, I think. So you can either wear it folded over or wear it more as a slouchy hat. That's up to you. If you want to do mushrooms, head over to that section. You better be proud of yourself. High five. You did fantastic. See you guys later.